we're gonna jump into another before and after. I'm gonna show you how to turn this photo into this photo. All right, so first we gotta clean up some of these spots. I just began to notice over time, and it will always be when I start to edit my photos, these spots in my photographs, and they will always be in the same location. And kind of find out my camera sensor was really dirty. So after we get these spots removed, the first thing I'm doing, I'm changing the color of her dress for no particular reason, just a stylistic choice. And I'm using the object selector in Lightroom. And now I'm using the brush tool. I use the brush tool quite a bit in Lightroom. And I'm just going to use it to brighten up specific areas. And to brighten up these areas, I'm just brushing it over with my exposure slightly increased. I like to zoom in so I can get a better look at what I'm doing. And then I'm also brighten up her dress a little bit in certain areas. I'm trying my best not to brighten up the entire dress, just the highlighted parts. I like to keep the shadows. So right here, I'm just adjusting the overall exposure to the photograph. And right here, I'm just adding a few key spots of exposure. Now we're moving the photo over into Photoshop where we can really dive into this edit. So first thing first, I want to remove the objects in my photo. As you can see, I have my softbox in the photograph, so I want to remove that. So once I remove that, I want to remove the light stand as well. But also on the bottom portion of this photograph, you can see where the backdrop ends. So I want to extend that backdrop and fill up my frame. And all I did was just use the content aware tool to fill that in. It did a pretty good job, but it wasn't perfect. So I'm gonna have to still clean it up a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So all I did was use the paintbrush tool to select the color of the backdrop that I like for that bottom portion of the frame to be, and just paint over it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You can refine your photo once you're done for some last minute touch-ups. So now I'm zooming in so I can clean up my model from any spots or blemishes or marks or anything before I begin my frequency separation. Before we start frequency separation, we want to make sure we have a really clean image. It'll make the process a lot more smoother. If you don't know how to create your action, you can go back to a few of my last videos. I'll go over it pretty detailed. So right now we're doing our frequency separation. And of course, our frequency separation, we're able to blend in the harsh lighting and skin tones while retaining our skin texture. So this is essentially a blur, but it's not blurring out the skin textures because the skin textures are on a separate layer. So where you have really harsh lighting or different skin tones, it blends those skin tones and harsh lighting without blending the skin texture. And I'm using the lasso tool to do this, but I also like to use the mixer brush to smoothen out my image. I use that mixer brush in combination with my frequency separation action. That way I'm still retaining my skin texture. The mixer brush just give it a more smoother look. I feel like the mixer brush blend the skin tones a lot more better, and it's a lot faster. But as you can see, I do it in combination with my lasso tool. And once I'm done with my frequency separation, I would start my color grading, which my color grading is pretty basic. It just consists of me cranking up my contrast, my brightness, my vibrance. Sometimes I play around with the saturation, but not a lot. And then after the color grading, I go straight to my dodge and burn. Dodge and burn goes hand in hand with frequency separation. Sometimes you will notice when you're doing frequency separation, it can make a photo appear a little flat. That's where dodge and burn comes into play. It makes it seem as if your subject is popping from the background, giving it more depth and dimension and separation from the background. That's pretty much it. So again, I'll go over some of the things we did with this photo. First, we start by a basic edit in Lightroom. After that, we move our image over to Photoshop, where we're going to do our frequency separation. After we retouch our photo, we do a little color grading. Then after the color grading, we can do a little dodge and burn. After the dodge and burn, that's pretty much it. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like, save it for later if you would like to watch it again. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure to go over to my YouTube channel at I Am Chad Strong and subscribe. There I will cover in more detail of my editing process, and you can see more behind the scenes of my photo shoots. And if you're not following me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram at I Am Chad Strong, so you can see some of the photos after I'm done. And if you're watching this on Instagram, make sure you follow me on TikTok at I Am Chad Strong, and make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube as well. Hope y'all have a blessed day. Peace. For more content like this, follow me on Instagram and Facebook at I Am Chad Strong.